Hi guys, welcome back to Sports Angle. By looking at Michael's wide smile, you can just know that RCB has beaten Chennai Super Kings at Chepauk. They have conquered Chepauk by 50 runs. A complete dominating display by the boys from Bangalore. And yeah, you can just see Michael is going to be like this till 8:30 a.m. in the morning. He's going to sleep tomorrow at 9 a.m. in the morning because he's going to be celebrating all night. But yeah, since 2008, the first win at Chepauk in 17 years, quite a statement. Just, long story short, not taking this away from Michael, the way they played, the way they absolutely dominated from the first ball till the last, never did ever CSK look they are going to get a grip on the game. There was always someone from RCB, either from their batting side or their bowling side, trying to put in some match winning performances. So, on to you, Michael. This is your time. Say whatever you have to. Go for it.
Um, I'm gonna go on a pretty long monologue type vibes, but
Yeah.
first and foremost, credit to the entire team. I mean, RSP performed like a team today,
Yeah.
and that was what was required to like break that 17-year curse we've been dealing with at Chepauk.
Yeah.
And I mean, the entire game felt very one directional, right? Uh, you felt a pass score on this pitch was like a 185, 190, but then turns out it's actually 170 and RCB were actually overperforming on that pitch, which was great to see.
Yeah.
Now I see the game and like we can split that game into two different innings, right? The first innings, first and foremost, RCB when they were batting, there was constant intent.
Yeah.
Even when CSK broke through that entire
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
mean they got it's at
Yeah.
regular intervals, no doubt. But even when they got the wickets, it never felt like a wicket was gone because the next
Yeah.
batter comes in, they were batting
Yeah.
quite well. There was
Correct.
constant pressure from the batsman.
Correct.
On that front, the one key thing as to why we were able to maintain that was Kohli's anchor role. Of course, he was batting under 100 strike rate for like an
Yeah,
initial
but you know
phase.
what? I honestly feel like that was the probably that could have been your Achilles heel. I think there are so many other players and their performances in pockets which you need to appreciate more than Kohli just anchors innings because
Oh no, I
Salt played
meant
a 32 or 16, set the tone for the innings. Padikkal then comes and takes and ups the ante. And then Rajat Patidar does the same thing. And of course, let's not forget Jitesh Sharma and Tim David's cameos.
100%,
Kohli's thing was very
100%.
good, and I feel like Devdutt Padikkal lost his wicket because Kohli could not capitalize much. But that is how T20s to be played. Like I feel like this is what happens, and this is a classic case. What CSK are lacking right now, they have 6, 7 players like RCB stepping up, versus depending on one so-called phenomena, and he doing whatever he does towards the end, which really does not account for stuff. So I feel like. I don't think so. It was Kohli's day today. Of course, he was missing the ball. It hit his helmet. He did have some good patches in the game, but otherwise, the batting unit in general, like from Phil Salt to Devdutt Padikkal to Livingston, Jitesh Sharma, and Tim David's last 3 sixes, I think those. I think these are the significant and impactful innings which really made a difference. And the way
100%.
Patidar neutralized spin, neutralized any kind of tactics coming in from Khalil Ahmed, captain's innings. This was a captain's innings.
100%. No, when I was talking about Kohli's innings, I would want to compare to how CSK played, right? Because I think there's a match for match there. You're looking at a Kohli's innings and a Rachin's innings. When Kohli was playing that anchor role, you could see that the players around him were going aggressive, right? That was from a Salt, that was from a Padikkal, and that was from a Rajat. So those three were batting around him a lot more aggressively. But then around Rachin, when you look at that top three order, you've got Rahul Tripathi going out cheaply.
Yeah.
You've got Gaikwad going out for a duck
Yes.
again to someone
Yes.
from an RCB team. So that
Yeah.
was nice.
Yeah.
I enjoyed that quite a bit.
Yeah.
And then you've got Huda going at 100 strike rate, facing more than 8 balls.
Correct.
And there was nothing that they could do, right? Like,
No.
so that was, I think, the key differentiator between the two innings was while Kohli played that anchor role, people around him had the freedom to bat.
Yeah.
When Rachin was playing that anchor innings, even though the players around him had that option to bat, they
Yeah,
just
but yeah, I
couldn't
also feel
capitalize
like they
on
were
it.
in a very completely different stead. Like in the first 6 overs, they were around 30 runs or
Yeah,
20
they
runs
ended
for
on
three.
30 for 3.
Yeah, they were 30 for three in
It
their six
was it
overs.
was horrible,
So
I feel.
that in
Like,
that playing the anchor innings was the need of the hour. But where actually RCB were cruising in their first 6 overs, where they had actually, I think,
yeah,
54, 55 for one. And credit to Phil Salt there. He took on Ashwin.
yeah,
He took on the spinners. He took on Khalil Ahmed again. He neutralized, as we spoke last time. It's not someone who is going to be, bowed down by any kind of pressure. And Rajat Patidar, who we spoke, like that
Yeah,
contact between him and Noor completely neutralized Noor, and he completely did not allow him to get to that effectiveness which Noor is known for. Uh, I mean, I feel this was a complete RCB show. Starting with
100%.
the bowling, Bhuvi, class. Josh Hazelwood, class. Absolutely every player just came and chipped in. Tim David, you know what? This is the kind of innings we were longing to see at Mumbai Indians, but we could not see for
Yeah,
XYZ reasons. But as a Mumbai Indian fan, I'm happy he's performing because this is what the player's potential is, right? Smoking Sam Curran because he didn't take the single of the last of the 18th over
yeah,
on the last ball. It's kind of gave like a
correct.
message to Bhuvi that hey, you know what? Listen, I'm gonna finish these innings off. I'm gonna hit the big runs. He backed himself to do that in the last over.
And he did very well. Three
Exactly.
sixes back to back.
Yeah.
That's as good as it gets. At two
और
against
यही
Sam
होता है
Curran,
यार, यही होता है ये
who
बड़े
was
अगर
bowling
आपको ऐसे
anywhere
जीतना है तो
between
ये मोमेंट्स ही है, ये मोमेंट्स ही है
100%.
तो ये सब कर सकते हैं। और इसीलिए मैं बोल रहा हूँ आरसीबी लुक वैसी लग रही है साइड जो अभी जीतने के लिए रेडी है, जो जीतने के लिए
Yeah,
हंग्री है। एंड यू नो व्हाट आई वाज टेलिंग दिस टू अथर्व व्हेन वी वर वाचिंग द गेम टुगेदर। MI versus CSK used to be like this, where MI would really be so fearless in front of CSK and be like, doesn't
yeah.
matter, it's Chepauk, doesn't matter, it's Mumbai, we're going to take you on. You would be the most loved team, we don't care. That right now, that fight and that grit and that bite which you see in RCB that is what is basically what I see missing in MI. You know, like
I,
and you're
I
not
mean, with
intimidated
if
by
you
the
look
fight
at it,
rookies, not the fans, not Dhoni, not the phenomena there is. It's just to play
yeah,
profit. And I think that match on 18th May was just not a match. I think it's a very important step in your history to get over that mental block which you all always had against CSK.
yeah, I agree. I mean, that game was so big. The fans, the CSK fans, for like a good 10 months were like, we're coming for revenge, come to Chepauk. Now we've come to Chepauk, and well,
Correct.
we know what has happened. So
I don't think so. You all
it is,
came to Chepauk.
I'm not going to
Conquered
say too
Chepauk.
much
Yep.
because at the end of the day, we've only played two games. Even when we've played two games, it feels very lonely at the top with being the only team with 4 points. So,
No,
it's a
definitely.
great feeling
I think you
nonetheless.
all are the only team to win their two opening games.
Yeah, we're the only team with 4 points at the moment.
Yeah.
And I think we're going to stay that way till match day two gets over because our net run rate's that high.
Yeah.
But again, so early on to the season, there's lots
Yeah,
of
it's
games
early
left.
days. It's early days, but
Yeah,
you know what? Like it's such good momentum to take. ये 4 points आप
yeah,
चिन्ना स्वामी जब लेके जाओगे तो अलग ही गस्टो एक्सक्यूज मी होगा फैंस में, अलग ही रुतबा होगा फैंस में जो एकदम वो टीम को बैक करेंगे, सपोर्ट करेंगे। और सबसे इंपॉर्टेंट ये है कि आज जो स्क्वाड है वो चेंज नहीं हुई। राशिक सलाम
100%.
एग्जैक्टली एंड द सेम थिंग यूजली आरसीबी में हमेशा हम देखते हैं एक टाइम के बाद अगर मैच हारे या जीते तो स्क्वाड चेंज होती है, प्लेयर्स का कॉन्फिडेंस डगमगाता है, फिर उसमें हम देखते हैं कि कभी कभार परफॉर्मेंस आती है कभी नहीं आती है। इस बार एक स्टेबिलिटी दिख रही है टीम में, एक तरह का ठहराव दिख रहा है टीम में एंड आई फील लाइक वो बहुत ही अच्छा है। कोहली's performance I don't think so is a bother of
It's
it's not
fine.
a
I
bother
mean,
at all.
it's okay.
Come to Chinnaswamy, I
Very
think he will
clear.
be very good.
It's very clear that the pitch was too paced.
Yeah, it was very
It's
two
something
paced.
that people didn't realize early on,
It
but
was
it was
very two
way too
paced.
paced cricket.
करेक्ट एंड आई फील लाइक आरसीबी बैटर्स रियली कैपिटलाइज्ड एंड डोमिनेटेड एंड ये मैं दोनों एम्फेसिस ये वर्ड पे डालना चाहता हूँ, डोमिनेटेड और कैपिटलाइज्ड, क्योंकि दोनों किया आरसीबी ने। 12 छक्के मारे पहले इनिंग्स में वर्सेस सीएसके, आई थिंक दे ओनली हिट 4 or 6 sixes एज अ यूनिट।
Correct. And majority of them came in the latter half when
Yes,
the
then
game was pretty
Dhoni
much
came on
gone.
with that usual whatever
Yeah,
the circus they do towards the end, usually, when they
yeah.
are batting, when they're banging their heads against the wall when Dhoni is coming in. But that's a conversation for a different time. What I also liked about RCB is well, this they had specific plans for certain players. दीपक हुड्डा को उनको मालूम था आउटस्विंगर डालनी है, वो डालते रहे। ऋतुराज को अच्छी उन लोगों ने लेंथ बॉल डाली जिसपे वो पकड़ा गया। अगेन मुझे लगता है वापस इमोशनल हो
It's
गया, मारने के
similar
लिए
to
गया।
how he got out of Chinnaswamy, right?
Yeah,
Both of them the same direction. He's
the
taking
ball
the
in his
shot in
ribs.
the
Yeah,
direction.
yeah, exactly. Ball in
Very
his ribs and he
I mean,
gets
I
him.
wouldn't call it unfortunate, but it looks like an Achilles heel for him at the moment. So definitely has to work on that. But
Correct.
again, like another thing that I differentiate between both the power plays, right? I feel when you look at how CSK were bowling, they were bowling very varied lengths.
Yep.
Now, when you look at how RCB bowled, we were bowling very consistently. I mean, Hazelwood is pretty much bowling the exact ball, same
Yep.
ball, pretty much 12 balls continuously. Bhuvi
Correct.
was also bowling a very similar length,
Yeah.
trying to use the pitch, trying to get a little bit of swing into it. And they were cross seaming as well, right? So there was very clear plan,
Yeah.
cramp up the room for the batsmen so that they have nothing to do there.
Correct.
And then it just worked really well.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I'm not used to seeing this from RCB where we are very consistent.
Yeah.
And that was, you could see the consistency in intent in batting. You could see the consistency in intent in the bowling.
Yeah.
And another bit that I sort of was a big fan of was Rajat's captaincy. Very
Yes.
fearless. The fact that he's given Livingston 4 overs, which I don't think he's bowled 4 overs in the IPL a lot,
Yeah.
barring maybe 1 or 2 games for Punjab. So to give him 4 overs where he's picked up 2 wickets at a very reasonable economy, that's another thing that is great to see.
Yeah.
And one thing that I absolutely don't like about CSK at the moment is that crowd. Like, I mean, you cheer for your team no matter what. They were dead silent between, I think, the fourth over to the 14th over.
Yeah.
Only they sort of stood up when Dhoni came in.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, you need to back your team. You're not backing a player.
Yeah.
And that's one thing
I
missing.
feel like the beauty of playing for a franchisee, like, see, CSK goes away when you have fans like those, because then you are not celebrating the team, you're celebrating an
Hmm.
Indian. And that
100%.
team is a very strong team. It's a very significantly, you know, historic team, which like with very good, like, performances and stuff like that. It's not like a team which has just come, or it's not inceptionized like in this year or this last year or something like that, and they have come up with, like, these players. These players have been there. There's some players like Jadeja have been there for more than a decade. Ashwin has made a homecoming. You need to be there for those players as well. And that too in a situation like this when the crowd needs to be behind the players. So I feel like, I feel like, of course, see, Dhoni did whatever he did today, that 0.1 second stumping, which was like out of this world. Like,
I was out of this world.
yeah, like
No doubt.
you can't, of course, none of us are saying that he's a bad keeper or he's a bad player or something like that. It's just that no player is bigger than the team, no player is bigger than the game.
Yeah.
There is no
But
one
at the
who's.
same time, I've got to say this. This is not on Dhoni, right? There's
This is
nothing
not on
on
him. Yeah,
Dhoni
of
against
course
this.
not. This is on the
He's
fans.
he's
And
batted well.
yeah,
He's wicket keeped really well.
yeah,
So at the end of the day, you've got a player who's actually delivered for the team.
yeah,
Problem comes with that fan mentality that you see. Again, fan worship, I completely understand, right? You see that for Rohit in Mumbai, you see that for Virat Kohli in Bangalore. But at the end of the day, they also cheer for the team first. They
yeah,
know
yeah.
what's first and most important for
Correct.
the entire city and for the entire team.
Absolutely.
But that was missing. And another two things I'd put across for CSK that they really messed up today was one was their fielding was really bad.
Yeah, I think
You
too many
don't
drop
drop
catches.
catches
Yeah,
that often.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Too many
They
drop
dropped three
catches.
catches on Rajat today, which
Yeah,
was very, very costly. I mean,
yeah,
if you could have gotten Rajat earlier, I think we wouldn't have scored more than 160, 170, to be very
yeah,
honest.
yeah.
And I think Ruturaj's captaincy was not very much on point because he's not really used Jaddu and Ashwin very effectively. First and
Yeah, I
foremost,
feel
their
like there
focus
there
were
is
not
so
fit.
much potential out there, like with Jaddu and Ashwin, like literally two of the best terrorizing
Yeah,
spinners India's had over the years, and they've used him across formats. And the way he's not, I wouldn't say use them, but I don't think so. He has put on the fifth or sixth gear yet. Like he's not used them
correct.
full throttle. And the
Yeah,
way he's not capitalized on their experience, he's not really used them to target. He's not prioritized matchups. Like someone like a Jadeja against a Kohli would have been so amazing, but we didn't see Jadeja against
I
Kohli.
think one more thing was I know Noor got the wicket of Salt in the power play through Dhoni stumping, but I felt more than Noor, they could have actually played Jadeja in the power play because I think
Yeah.
he would have been more effective because you've literally got two righties over there.
Yeah, and then you can
And
use
you could
Noor
have used Noor
in the
with
middle overs.
more protection around the boundaries.
Yeah,
The guy
exactly.
can spin the ball really effectively.
Yeah. And I also feel like someone like a Shivam Dubey can also help them in the middle overs. The guy, if you just make him sit in the dugout and only get him to bat, and then also you get him to bat at like 5 or 6, is really not that
Yeah,
effective then. Because what are you planning then? And even if now they, and okay, if Dhoni is hitting so well and his batting is in इतनी अच्छी फॉर्म में है धोनी की बैटिंग, तो आप उसको 5 या 6 पे लेके आओ ना, ताकि वो छक्के चौके मारे उधर बैठ के।
exactly.
क्या फायदा बैठ गया एसी के रूम में बैठ के, क्या फायदा है? आप एक्चुअली ऐसे प्लेयर को
Also,
लेके आओ, क्योंकि उसका
I
वर्कलोड
feel if if Jaddu was not effective, of course, he's given 3 overs. I think he's given 37 runs in those three.
Yeah,
He was not effective, and you know that a left arm spinner is a good matchup for the right-handed batters.
yeah,
Why did you just bowl Rachin?
yeah.
Why did you have to put so many fast bowlers? I think Khalil was economical. I wouldn't say he was a bad bowler today. He was pretty economical. I'll give him that for sure.
Yeah.
But I think Tirana was not that economical, unfortunately,
Yeah, I think
right?
it's first game since injury.
Patirana
So
gave
I think,
around
yeah,
9 per over.
yeah.
Sam Curran gave almost 11.3 per over.
Sam Curran,
I
I
think there's a
don't
lot
get
of things they
to,
missed
yeah.
today.
They're using him
That
as that all-rounder, but he's not effective.
yeah. And the minute you start floating Sam Curran so much in that batting order,
Yeah,
like I mean that's another thing with that batting order, right?
yeah,
Because you're not fixated on where Dhoni needs to play.
yeah.
He comes in towards the end.
Correct.
And then Ashwin comes in earlier when you're needing about 15, 16 runs per over.
Yeah,
You're bringing in Sam Curran to be a pinch hitter, but he's not able to do anything
correct,
because literally putting him against spin while the guy's more effective against faster bowlers.
correct, correct.
I think it
I
was
agree.
just
I
the
fully agree. Fully agree. But okay, now let's talk about CSK's problems. We've talked about RCB's strengths. What do you think right now in the third match? I don't know who you guys are playing. I'm not. I don't know.
we are playing Gujarat on Wednesday, so we
We're
play them
playing
in at
Gujarat on Wednesday
Chinnaswamy.
at Chinnaswamy.
Yeah.
Okay. No, I just want
Now in
to ask,
terms of
like, what do
problems
you?
for RCB, it's very clear.
Yeah, what are the
There's just one
problems?
problem. How are we gonna perform at Chinnaswamy?
Ah,
It's always a 50-50 for us.
yeah, the Chinnaswamy conundrum has been probably, I feel, the hurdle between
Yeah.
the last few seasons and your success between that. Because if I feel, say out of the 7 games, you'll crack 5. That's already 14 in the bag. And
I
then you
mean,
win one of the away matches, say by against Rajasthan, which is a good probability. 16 points
correct.
are right there. And another game which you win by some luck, or you say whatever. 18 points are right there. You're looking at a top 2 finish with 18 points.
Yeah.
Could this just be RCB's year? Because even if you see
It
the
could,
playoff
but
venues where the
I
matches are
mean,
played are very, very RCB friendly. And historically, RCB have done well in those grounds in neutral matches.
100%. And I would look at it this way, right? It's literally written in the stars as well. It's number 18 in his 18th year for the
Yeah.
RCB. And this was the first time in 18 years we've beaten CSK at the Chepauk.
Yeah.
A lot of firsts in 18 years that could have happened, that
Yeah.
have happened and could happen.
Yeah.
But again, very early on to the season. I
Yeah.
think we can
Absolutely
predict a
early.
lot more better once we're done with like 7 games and we've
Yeah.
played at least 2, 3 games at home.
Correct.
I mean, for bowling attack, we've got a very sorted bowling, I think, for Chinnaswamy this time, right? I'm
Wow.
very confident in Bhuvi, very confident in the Hazelwood,
Yeah.
very confident in the Krunal.
Yeah.
Suyaj did reasonably well today. He wasn't able to be in the wicket takers list, but he did exceptionally well today, I think, in terms of bowling away from Dubey when Dubey was able to smack him with a six. And Livingston's also been pretty effective, right? So from that aspect, you've got that covered. And then also you've got Rasik sitting in the impact player list. So you never know.
Hmm.
Like I think someone like a Rasik, especially in the middle overs where he can change his pace a lot,
Yeah.
makes a big difference, right?
I
And
have
we've
a
seen
good feeling. Yeah.
changing pace at the Chinnaswamy really works. We've seen that with the Vaishak, we've seen that with the Harshal.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of things to do. There's a lot of things that we could see. And then, of course, how can I forget Yash Dayal? The
Harsh
guy's
Dayal has
literally
been, yeah.
had a 15 wicket season last year.
Yeah.
He's played 7 games at Chinnaswamy last year. So that's another thing to take away. But now it's just consistency. I don't know if there's anything else. Like from a batting standpoint, there was really no holes, right? Like literally 7 of your batters got into double digits today.
Absolutely.
From your
Absolutely.
bowlers, 4 of those bowlers got wickets today.
Yeah.
Is there literally any gap in their performance? Not really. But now it's to sort of replicate that at Chinnaswamy. And number two is actually being able to be consistent with this.
Hmm. I feel, yeah, definitely. I think RCB is in the right gusto, and they will probably, I think, move upwards and onwards only from here, unless until something horribly goes wrong, which I don't think so. I see.
Yeah.
वो ऐसे मुझे नहीं लगता ऐसा कुछ होगा बट देखते हैं बट या एक्साइटिंग वीकेंड ऑफ क्रिकेट कमिंग अप बहुत सारा क्रिकेट है ये वीकेंड नेक्स्ट मैच टुमारो इज Gujarat Titans taking on Mumbai Indians in Ahmedabad at 7:30. Catch the match on Jio Hotstar and Star Sports. As a Mumbai Indians fan, I feel it's now time for Mumbai Indians to start winning. Enough's enough. You have a
I
captain.
mean,
Everything is sorted. You have your players.
yes.
start with your winning. Otherwise, it's gonna look like a shit show again. We don't need players who with a weak mentality saying that, we have this idol, we have that idol. For heaven's sake, you're Mumbai Indians. One of the most successful franchisees in the world. Not one of the most, the most successful cricket franchisee in the world. It is made on principles of winning and winning only. Like, I feel tomorrow,
100%,
if
yeah.
we don't win, there is a panic button, which the owners, which the organizers, they need to start pressing on, because immediate changes are needed, because we've got the coach what we wanted. We've got the all
Yeah.
the
I
captain which
mean,
we wanted.
Hardik's coming back, by the way,
Yeah.
so
So
that's a
if we
huge change.
don't
It
do
gets you
anything
balance.
tomorrow, and that too, I'm telling you, Gujarat, the pitch, the team is there for the taking. They're right there. उधर
Yeah,
है वो
yeah.
टीम. वो उनको पंजाब किंग्स ने आउटस्मार्ट किया और आउटस्मार्ट कर गया. अगर ये टीम को हम आउटस्मार्ट नहीं कर सकते विद सूर्या, तिलक, हार्दिक, रोहित, and with Bolt and Chahar, then sorry, boss. Then even if we
You've
get
got
to
a
the top,
210, you've
no
got a
point.
210, 220 power post score pitch, to be honest, to bat
Yeah,
on.
it's that, and I feel like Mumbai Indians now need to show like a few. They need to show that bite and that hunger. It's enough. Like these soft
Yeah.
performances, like, and these batting collapses are coming a bit way too often. And this was never the case with Mumbai Indians, right? And okay, fine. They're like, oh, there
Oh,
is
very good.
Bumrah,
You
there is.
always had an anchor at the top to carry that inning.
Yeah, and I feel like there have to be some hard calls. Even Atharva mentioned in that review we had post the CSK MI match that maybe Rohit Sharma has to be dropped. But I don't know. See, these kind of hard calls need to be taken in the best interest of the team. I don't know. It can be done. But देखते हैं अभी क्या होता है.
Hypothetically, you drop him, who do you play?
I will give a kid. I would say open with Will Jacks and Ryan Rickleton and play someone like a Tilak at one
Mhm.
down.
Yeah, that's something you can do as well.
Yeah, it's completely fine. Or if you want, open with a Namandir. With like a Ryan Rickleton. So he's got experience with them. But again, like this can't again happen and be a problem tomorrow that, oh, we are having this issue again. Like, with this whole captaincy saga and the team not gelling.
No, I think
Honestly,
that's
I
sorted.
don't have it in me to take it for another season. This is rubbish then. This is absolute rubbish. And the owners then need to take hard calls. Absolute hard calls. Like really need to be tough on the players. Because enough's enough. Now the team has switched off. They've gone to Vantara. They were on jet skis. They were on barbecues, literally having the time of their life, which is great. Needed in the IPL, hectic schedule, everything. Recovery is a must in the IPL, the most important thing.
Yeah.
But it has to come on the back of performances. If you're not performing, if you're not winning, if you're not getting the kind of results which the fans want, I'm sorry. You are going to make a joke out of yourself, out of the fans, and most importantly, the franchisee. So let's see what happens. Good amount of matches coming, and after this, we have Delhi Capitals taking on Sunrisers Hyderabad in Visakhapatnam on 3:30 Sunday, and then in Guwahati, uh, Rajasthan Royals taking on CSK. Sara Ali Khan to be
With
performing
a
the opening
special
ceremony.
appearance.
Yes, a very happy Riyan Parag. So I feel these three matches for the weekend, man. So let's
What
see.
are your predictions?
I feel GTMI should be MI.
Mhm.
DC SRH will be DC, and Rajasthan CSK will be Rajasthan.
Yeah, I actually agree with all those choices because
Yeah,
I mean the one probably a toss-up would be that RR CSK game, but I think with CSK traveling all the way to Guwahati
that's a lot.
after losing a match right now, it's a momentum killer plus a long travel.
Yeah.
You
And
know,
that
it's gonna
let's
hit
not
them
forget
real
that
hard.
match is absolutely happening at a higher sea level altitude, above sea level
Yeah,
altitude as well. So in terms of
yeah.
acclimatization, you're going from literally a place which is hot, humid, and completely to a place where it's completely dry, lower oxygen in the air, with only one day to acclimatize.
It's
Very
gonna be
difficult.
tough. It's gonna be
Very,
very
very
tough.
difficult. DC Sunrisers, I simply just feel because of the momentum. DC is on a high. They've chased 200 down at that very same ground. Although
Yeah.
Visakhapatnam orange होगा because it is near to
It's
Hyderabad.
in the state, correct.
हाँ, और
Yeah.
वो स्टेट में है तो ऑफ कोर्स आई फील लाइक उनके पास वो एक
Mhm. Is it really in the
होम
state?
एडवांटेज काइंड ऑफ अ थिंग होगा बट आई स्टिल फील मोमेंटम वाइज डीसी विल बी दिस एंड प्लस आई फील डीसी's bowling is much better than SRH's, so I think that will make the difference. GTMI,
Yeah,
just
just
yeah.
another heads up. It's really not gonna be Orange Army purely because Hyderabad comes within Telangana and Vizag will come under Andhra Pradesh.
Yeah, but I have a feeling like, yeah, I don't know. Let's see if
There'll be still supporters because, of course, that legacy continues.
yeah, the legacy will continue and maybe some rivalry there. There's nothing like it. But again,
Yeah.
GTMI purely for the reason Hardik Pandya making a comeback. And I feel like tomorrow Bolt in that kind of a setup can take very, very good wickets. And I feel
Yeah.
some spin might come in handy because, yeah, right-hander heavy.
I mean, GT have got a lot of problems, I feel.
Yeah,
Even while on paper they look like a great team, I think there's just too many problems. They weren't able to get a lot of wickets with that amazing bowling lineup that they have, especially with that
correct.
fast bowler.
Yeah,
Your top three are all openers. Who's going to open? God only knows. Gill has to open while he's the only one that can bat at number three. It's just
yeah.
a
Let's
real
see.
toss up. So
Let's see.
Mumbai really needs to capitalize on it
Absolutely.
because right now they're not a sorted team. So they
Absolutely.
really need to.
So that's from our review on the CSK versus RCB game and great night for RCB. ऐसे ही मिलते हैं आपको अगले वीडियो में प्रोबेबली हम कल के जीटी वर्सेस एमआई का रिव्यू करेंगे और आने वाले गेम्स का भी सुप्रभात गुड नाइट सायोनारा हैव अ नाइस वन लाइक शेयर सब्सक्राइब कमेंट फॉर स्पोर्ट्स एंगल
East Sala Cup Namde.